I'm here to bring to you live the Executive Wellness Podcast. I just want you to do one favor for me. Try to call all your friends and your family. Try to check on them and to see how they are doing. This is going to be another wonderful podcast, and we'll be focusing on collaboration, friendship, and companionship. As you know, we all need good friends in our life. We all need good companionship. We all need to know how to collaborate with others to make the best of whatever that we set our hands upon. Today we are going to be focusing on how we connect with one another, how we relate with one another, how we interact with one another, and the positive influence of relationship, the positive influence it has on our productivity. That is what we are going to be looking at in this podcast. We all need good friends in our life. Whether you are a man, you are a woman, you need male friendship, you need female friendship. Friendship can take your dream to the next level. If you have good friends in your life, it can really make a difference in your life. So we are going to be looking at different angles. We're going to be looking at friendship from different angles and really see how much we can benefit from good relationship. In a business or organizational setup, there is strong emphasis on relationships, on team building, on team solidarity, and believe me honestly, you cannot afford to live your life in isolation from people who can make you better. People, the greatest asset you have is not your money, it's not your property in Dubai or your property in Eco-Atlantic, what do they even call new section that they're just developing in Lagos State. So you need good connection, you need good people, you need to be able to have solid relationship to be able to take your life to the next level. That is what we need to make our life better. Friends can improve your life, and if you have bad friends, they can also ruin your life. So you need to concentrate on making good friendship. You must learn how to collaborate with other people to have a healthy and a balanced life. There is a very profound statement which I use as a caption to kind of publicize this podcast, which says humans are created to thrive on connection. That is very true. We have been, wired in such a way that the only way we can thrive as human is to have connections with one another. And believe me honestly, you need solid friendship, you need committed companionship, and you need the next level collaboration with other people to succeed in life. Without all this connection, life is going to be a lot of stress. Life is going to be a lot of struggle. So I want you to call somebody today and just let them know how much you care about them, how much value they've added to you, how much impact they have made in your life. If there is anything I am very, very conscious about and very careful about, and I've been doing this since 1997, is the kind of people I allow to have access to me. The people you allow to have access to you are largely going to determine what becomes of your life. I've had occasion when I was younger, I have tried to want to connect with people that were not really good. I wanted to belong, I wanted to be part of them, I wanted to do what they do, which were not good things, of course, but because of peer pressure, I just wanted to be among them. But for some reason, and I would even say I want to thank them for not accepting me in their fold at that time. I was not accepted. I was not allowed to come into the fold. And luckily for me, after a while, I encountered transformation with my faith, and then I didn't need that kind of relationship anymore. I don't know how my life would have turned out today if those circle of friends have allowed me to come into their fold. My life would have been a total mess and a total chaos. But I'm thanking them today for not accepting me into their fold. But that is how powerful friendship can be. They can either make you or they can break you. They can either make you go to the next level or they can make you to continue to struggle in life. And believe me honestly, if you have good friendship, it has a way of impacting your mental well-being. Bad friends will impact your mental well-being in a negative way. If you have friends who all they know about is to do drugs, to smoke hams, to smoke crack, to follow after women, to do money rituals, it's really going to mess up your life. But if you have friends that are always forward looking, that are always thinking about the future, that are always thinking about how they can bring changes to the society, that are always thinking about how they can be men and women of significance, believe me honestly, it's going to rub on you too. You are also going, in every likelihood, you are going to begin to think within that frame of work. So I just want to encourage you as we go through this podcast to make up your mind about the kind of people you want to collaborate with, the kind of people you want to call your friends, and the kind of people you want to be in your inner circle. So I'm going to take them one by one. I'm going to kind of piece them, I'm going to kind of separate them into different sections. I'm going to talk about collaboration, I'm going to talk about friendship, I'm going to talk about companionship, but we are still basically talking about the same thing, but we want to look at them, we want to look at connection or relationship from that specific point of view. So when we talk about collaboration, what is the biggest idea in collaboration? Now, the biggest idea in collaboration is for everyone who is involved in that circle of relationship to have synergy. To have synergy, or some people can call it to have chemistry. And what is most important about synergy? Synergy is when people combine their diverse skills, their perspective, their efforts together to create something greater than the sum of individual contributions. I remember when I was an undergraduate and we were doing one of these business courses, because I studied business administration as an undergraduate, and we were taught about synergy, that the sum total of the whole is always greater than the individual units of the part of the whole. In other words, what we will do together as a group, the achievements, the attainment we will have together as a collection, as a group, is going to be far superior than what each and every one of us will do if we are to do it separately, regardless of the talent that we have, regardless of how talented, how educated, how intelligent, how smart you think you are. You will always get a superior result when you pull your talent together to create something unique, to create something distinct, than when you are trying to do it all alone by yourself. That is the power of synergy, and that is the biggest idea in collaboration. So when you are collaborating with other people, you are not just collaborating for collaborating sake. It is because so that you can attain a synergy that can give you a far more superior result. And if you will agree with me, when you have a good synergy and you collaborate with others, there are some basic fundamental factors that are very critical in collaboration. Number one of such factor is, in a collaboration, there must be trust. You want to build your collaborative effort on trust. Everyone in that group working together must trust one another. You must believe in the ability of the members of the group. You must believe that you all have a common goal and you are all achieving a common end. There must be trust. If there is no trust, collaborative effort cannot succeed. You have to trust one another. You have to believe in one another. You have to believe that what you are doing is worth doing. You have to believe that what you are doing together is far more superior than your individual goals and aspiration. So there must be trust. Another thing that is very, very important in a collaborative effort is that there must be clear communication. Everybody must be on the same page. You must understand one another. You must be speaking the same language. You must be seeing. You must have the same focus. Everybody must be driving towards the same destination. There has to be clear communication. There shouldn't be any ambiguity in what you are trying to achieve, and no member of the group must try to outsmart other people in the group. There must be clear communication. You must have the same goal. You must have the same end in mind. Everybody must be moving in the same direction. And of course, you must have a shared goal. Just mentioned about that. Your goal must be such that you all share it as a common interest. You must all be driving towards the same objective. And when you do this, it will enable innovation to take place. You will be able to solve problems that comes up as you go together in your collaborative effort, and that you will discover that what you are not able to do alone as a single individual, with all this put together, you will be able to achieve your goal and your aim. Now let's talk about friendship. What is the value of friendship? We all crave for friendship. We all desire friendship in our life. But hey, what is the value of friendship? Now, friendship, I want to define friendship as a sacred commitment to trust and care for someone you hold in high esteem. It's a sacred commitment. That word sacred is very, very powerful and very, very important. Friendship is not just something that happens by accident. There are some elements of sacredness in friendship, and it must be your commitment to trust somebody, to care for somebody, and to believe that this person deserves this honor that you are according to him. That is what builds friendship. There must be trust. You must have genuine interest in the other person. You must care for the other person, and then you must believe that your commitment is a mutual commitment. It's so sacred that you do not allow anything to come in between both of you. And here is where you should begin when you want to nurture such friendship. Now, Caroline Miles says, when you do not seek or need approval, you are at your most powerful. Now, this is what it means. Whenever you are seeking or you need the approval of others to remain in a friendship, you are in the wrong friendship. Friendship is not about you trying to seek approval. Just like I told you at the beginning, there was a time in my life that I was seeking for friendship. I was seeking for approval. I was seeking to belong. But for some reason, I didn't have that privilege to get to be brought into the group. Initially, I felt disappointed, but at the end of the day, it later turned out to be some kind of decision those people made that actually benefit me, that actually benefited me in a way that I couldn't have imagined. So, when you claim you are in a friendship, don't seek approval. Don't be somebody who needs the approval of others to feel that you belong. You don't need that. You don't need to seek anybody's approval to be accepted in a friendship. Anybody who wants to be your friend must be able to take you for who you are, for what you represent, and the friendship must just be natural. There shouldn't be anything that you are trying to. It shouldn't be mechanical. It's something that should be spontaneous. It's something that should be natural. It's something that must evolve in a natural way. You don't have to kind of impress the other person or try to do extraordinary thing before you should be accepted in a group. If somebody is not accepting your friendship, it's fine and good. There is always somebody who will always love you for who you are, who will always accept you for what you represent. And you really need this for the sanity of your mental well-being. When you are seeking approval from others, when you need people to approve of your friendship, it will put your mental well-being in a very difficult situation. You don't want people to be the determinant of what becomes of your life. You need to allow your life to be in your hand. You need to make choices that will impact your life positively and not necessarily kill yourself over people who do not accept you for who you are. I'm not trying to say you don't need friendship. You need friend. Obviously, we all need friendship in our life. And when I was younger, uh, I wasn't very good in this area. Now I'm gonna be very frank. I wasn't very good. So I have some few friends. I have some very good ones that impacted my life in a positive way. But I wasn't that very good in connecting with people generally, and that really affected my self-esteem. It affected the way I carried out my business. It affected me in a very terrible, especially with female friends. I didn't even have the connection to connect very well with the female friends, most especially because I went to all boys school alone. So for 6 years I was in a boarding house. I didn't really have interaction with female friends. So it was very, very difficult for me to really have that connection, especially with female friends. Not until around maybe 1999 or thereabout, or 2000, that I started making efforts to begin to connect with female friends. But before then, I was very awful in connecting with them, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know how to do it. So my advice for you is that when you are trying to make friendship, try to seek for friendship who will accept you for you, who you are, and don't try to impress people to belong. You don't need that. If you are trying to impress people to belong in a relationship, you will only be doing it at the detriment of your mental well-being. Believe me honestly, there are people who loves you just the way you are, and you need to seek those people out. You need to spend time with those kind of people. People who put you down, people who put you under the bus, people who try to dehumanize you, people who try to talk down on you, people who try to look down on you, people who try to make you little in your own eye. You need as fast as possible to get away from the circle of that kind of people. They are not going to help you, and staying long in that space is not also going to help you. So your best solution is to walk away from such group and seek for those who loves you, who believes in you, who appreciates you just for who you are. So what is the key to nurturing and enduring friendship? Just like I said, we all want friendship of some sort in our life. Some people, unfortunately, they find themselves in a very wrong friendship, bad friendship that turns their world upside down. And of course, some people, by virtue of their friendship, have been able to elevate their life to the next level. So the key to nurturing and enduring relationship is nothing but mutual care. If you have a friend, you must care for your friend, and your friend must care for you. If it has to be a two-way thing. If the care is only coming from you and there is no reciprocity from the other party, that is not a good friendship. A friendship has to be reciprocal. It has to be a two-way thing. It is give and take. You cannot just be giving, and the other person not responding back towards you. Friendship is not going to work that way. Even in a marriage, marriage is not just about give, give, give. It is give and take, give and take. You give some, I give some, I take some, you take some. That is how marriages works. But if it is only the wife that is giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and the husband is just receiving and receiving and receiving and is not giving back in return, there is going to come a time when the giver is going to get weary. The giver is going to get exhausted. It's going to be tired. They won't have the capacity to give anymore. And when somebody comes to a level when you don't have the capacity to give anymore, then it becomes a danger to your mental well-being. And you don't want that to happen to you. So you have to seek for friendship, whom when you give, they also give back in return. That is the law of life. When you give something, when you show love to somebody, you also have to receive some measure of love. If you are the one only giving love, you're giving love, you're giving love, you're giving love, and you are not getting the equal or equivalent proportion of that love being returned back to you, it's going to affect you mentally. It's going to destabilize you. It's going to make you get sick, and you don't want that to happen to you. So you have to show mutual care to your friends. Your friends have to show the same level of care to you. There has to be a consistent showing of empathy to others. And when I mean empathy, I'm not talking about sympathy. What many people love to do is to show sympathy. And when you show sympathy, you are simply telling the person that I know this is your problem, I know you are in a problem, but I hope you get well very soon. That is sympathy. But when you have empathy for people, you will know that their problem is not just their problem. It has become your problem together. And you are in it together. And you are going to figure how you are going to get out of it together. You are going to process the challenge together. You are going to see how the best possible way you are going to come out of the situation. That is how empathy feels. It is walking in another man's shoe, not minding whether it is your size or not. You know, it is one thing for you to treat people for what they are going through, but it is a different ball game when you assume the challenge that they are going through together with them. You take it upon yourself to share in their pain, to share in their moment of sorrow. And of course, when they also have a moment of joy, you also share in it. That is what friendship is for. It is to share a moment of joy, to share a moment of sorrow, to share a moment of sadness, to walk in another person's shoe, to see how this shoe pinches. That is what it means to walk in friendship, and that is the key to nurturing and enduring relationship. And of course, it's not just about empathy. I've also mentioned earlier on, you also need to build trust. You need to build trust. Trust is the currency of every friendship. If there is no trust in any relationship, that relationship is not going to last. If there is no trust between the husband and the wife, the relationship is not going to last. If there is no trust between the employer and the employee, the relationship, the working relationship, is not going to last. So you have to build trust. You have to trust that your partner has your best interest at heart. And you have to reciprocate the same to your partner. And in addition to showing empathy and trust, you also need to show respect. You also need to show respect. You have to respect people for who they are. I want to beg you, for those listening to me, don't ever look down on people. Don't look down on others. Try to be a man or a woman who empowers others. And the only true way you can empower others is when you respect them. When you respect people, you will treat people nicely. When you respect people, you will value people for what they represent. When you respect people, you will treat people kindly. When you respect people, you will treat people with affection and care. So, showing empathy, trusting people, and respecting people simply means you have decided to become an active listener. And who is an active listener? An active listener is not just somebody who is just sitting down and listening to what people are saying. That's not who an active listener is. An active listener is somebody who is able to share in the pain, in the anguish, in the sorrow, in the challenge, in the trouble that the other person is going through. You are able to feel their pain. You are able to share in their sadness. You are able to hear beyond the word that they are uttering. That is what makes for friendship. That is what makes for good collaboration and companionship with others. And you also have to embrace honest communication. You cannot claim to be in a relationship with somebody or you're in friendship with somebody and your communication with them is not based on honesty. That is not going to last. Or even if you keep such a friendship, you can certainly be sure that such friendship is not going to have a future because it's going to crash one day. You must be able to have honest conversation with whoever you call your friend. Any friend you have that you cannot have an honest and decent conversation with is not a friendship. There is no friendship. Friendship is not existing in such a situation. You don't yet have a friend. When you have a friend, there must be room for honesty. There must be room for you to be able to express your mind, for you to be able to tell the truth when it really matters. There must be honest communication. There must be honest conversation. And then you must be able to support each other through the highs and low moments. Every one of us, whether you like it or not, we have our different moments. We have our moments when things are going on very wonderfully, things are working well. It's like we're on a ride. We're on a smooth ride. Things are just happening naturally. Things are just working out seamlessly. But at other times, there are times when things don't go the way we want. Things become difficult. Situation becomes challenging. We all go through those moments in life. But if you call yourself a friend, you must be able to share in that moment by moment with your friends. So what is the measure of friendship in our life? How do we measure a good friendship? Now, I want to encourage you that for you to judge the richness of your friendship, you need to look at the kind of results that is being produced in your life and around your life. That is the best yardstick of a good friendship. You have to look at what you are producing. You have to look at your results. You have to look at your outcomes. You have to look at what is coming out as a result of your friendship. If those results are not encouraging, if they are not supportive, if they are not empowering, then you are in a wrong friendship. But if the result, the outcomes you are seeing are very encouraging, they are helping you to move forward in life, then I can assure you. So the good measure of friendship in our life is to look at the kind of results we are producing. Now, Jim Rohn made a very profound statement, and it's just how true that statement is. He said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, if you want to judge the value of your friendship, how much return you are getting on the kind of friendship you have around you, you just have to look at the 5 most influential friends in your life. Who are the circle of friends that are most influential in your life? If you can pinpoint the 5 people that are most connected to you at all levels, you are going to, the results you are going to be producing in your own life is going to be the average of what those 5 people are putting into your life combined. So if you have good friends, you have friends who are, taking you to the next level, friends who are impacting you in a very positive way, friends who are, doing something spectacular in your life, then you can expect to have a spectacular outcome in your life. But if the circle of friends that you have are friends who deals in drugs, who smokes, who carries women around, and who engage in all sorts of social vices, there is no prophecy anywhere. You have already predicted what your future is going to look like. So you need to be aware, you need to be careful of those you call your friends. Now, in the political landscape, the effectiveness of a political leader is going to be directly proportional to the type of advisors he has around him. When you see a political leader and you see the way he's behaving, don't just focus on him alone. You need to look at the circle of people that he has put around himself. If as a political leader all that you have around you are sycophants, people who are only hailing you for what they are benefiting from you, it's going to affect your leadership. You are not going to produce superior results. All your effort at best will be mediocre. And I love what Niccolo Machiavelli says. He was a political philosopher, and he said the first method of estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. When you see a smart president, for example, or a smart leader, or a smart head of state, I want to tell you that such a leader obviously has a lot of smart people around him. But when you see a political leader who is always spewing nonsense, jargons, he has no respect for anybody. He does not care what is happening within the society. He is not making effort to improve the life of the common people. Then all you just need to do is to look at the kind of people that surrounds him. You will discover that they are mostly psychopaths. And that is why the kind of result he's producing is at best a mediocre results. So now, what is the purpose of friendship? Why do we need to keep friends? If friendship is very, very important, what purpose does friendship serve in our life? And I have just one word for that. It is challenge. A good friendship must be able to challenge you. A good friendship must be able to motivate you to want to go to the next level. If your friendship is not challenging you, is not challenging your status quo, is not challenging your worldview, is not challenging how you see the world, is not challenging you to think in a different way, if your friendship is not challenging you to do things differently than the way you have been doing them before, then you are not in a good friendship. And the Bible, of course, I believe in the Bible, and I think it was the book of Ecclesiastes that says, iron sharpens iron. How true that is. If you want to sharpen an iron, you don't need a wood. You need an iron to sharpen iron. If you put a wood and iron together and you make them to work with one another, over time, initially the iron may be chopping out the wood, but over time the wood is going to make the iron to be dead. And that is what bad friendship, wrong friendship, that is what they do in our life. When you have wrong friendship in your life, over time, those circles of friendship are going to make you to look like a dead man. You are not going to be effective. You are not going to be efficient. So to be effective in life, to continue to scale unimaginable heights in life, you need to take the challenge of having people around you who challenge you to go to the next level. And that is what friendship is supposed to be for. If the only reason why you have a friend is so that you can go and do bad things together, you're destroying your life. You're killing yourself. Your friends must be able to challenge you. People who will introduce you to new ways of thinking or new ways of seeing life. I want to say they are so important to you, and you need to focus on such people. all through my life, as I begin to get some sense of maturity in life, I have consciously looked for friends who will help me to get to the next level. Even though I had challenges in making friends, but the few ones that I have been such that I have had, have been such that have enabled me to go to the next level in my life. The Bible also says, those who walk with the wise shall be wise, but a companion of fool shall be destroyed. So the issue of friendship is a very, very important subject that we need to focus our attention on. When you walk with wrong people, it sends wrong signals into your life. And when you walk with the right people, it also helps to elevate your leadership and your mental well-being. So what is the test of a true friendship? Every friendship must be put to a test. Believe me honestly. If you have somebody who is your friend and your friendship has not been brought to a test, you haven't started a friendship yet. Every friendship must be tested. And it is when your friendship has been tested and both of you are able to stand, that is when you truly have a friend. I have had friends in my life whom we started very well together, but for some reason, not that we had quarrel, not that we had any difficulty together, but suddenly I just discovered that something was no longer connecting. Like I said, in collaboration, the central idea of collaboration is synergy. The moment the synergy is no longer there, the center will no longer hold. I just suddenly discovered that there is no more connection, there is no more chemistry, as some people will put it. The synergy is no longer there. For the kind of person I am, I always cherish good friendship. If I have a good friend, I want to keep that friendship as long as I can. But I just suddenly discovered that all my efforts to make some of this friendship work, to continue in that same spirit that we began the friendship, it wasn't working. And I had to tell myself the truth. I say, hey, look here, it seems this thing is not working anymore. Not that you are quarreling, but it's just because your values have changed. Sometimes the people you are in friendship with today may not necessarily be the people that you are going to be in friendship with tomorrow. Why? Because your values will change. The way you see the world will change. Your goals in life will change. Your desire, your aspirations in life will change. And when those things occur, it is natural that the synergy will no longer be there. And when it happens, I want to encourage you, don't force the relationship to work again. You can walk away. There is no harm in that. So every true friendship will always be put to test. And it is only a matter of time. Trust me. It's only a matter of time when your friendship will be put to test. And when it happens, remember, anyone who can love you when the sun is shining, anyone can love you when the sun is shining. But however, when the storm begins, that is where you will learn who truly cares for you. Your friends are not those who are with you when things are working well for you. I'm not saying they are not friends at that instance, but you will only know your friends when the storms of life comes to you. Those who are able to stick around with you, those who are able to weather the storm with you, those are going to be your true friends. So as I begin to wrap up this podcast, this executive wellness podcast, I think we need to know the eternal truth about friendship. There is nothing as eternal, there is nothing as enduring, there is nothing as remarkable as much as this eternal truth about friendship. And what is the eternal truth about friendship? It is agreement. That is the eternal, unchanging truth about friendship. Friendships only work via agreement. Nothing more, nothing less. In the Bible, Amos chapter 3, verse 3, the Bible says, can two walk together except or unless they agree? You be the judge. If you are not in an agreement with somebody, working together is not going to be possible. If husband and wife are not going to work in agreement, marriage is not going to be possible. If a leader and his subordinates are not going to work in agreement, then leadership is not going to be possible. So what makes friendship to produce results is agreements. And these agreements only happens on the platter of choice. Listen to me, you have your choice to make in every friendship. You have the choice to walk away. You have the choice to remain in the friendship. The choice is yours. It's by choice. Friendship is never by force, it is by choice. And when a friendship is not delivering value to you any longer, friends, I want to encourage you to walk away. Now, Aristotle made a very profound statement, and I'm going to quote him. He says, choice, not chance, determines your destiny. I repeat, choice, not chance, determines your destiny. So the choice you make today will either determine where you are going tomorrow. Of course, it could either be positively or negatively. So you have to be mindful of the kind of choice you are making in relation to your friendship. And of course, you will also agree with me that there is the dark side of friendship. And that is what I call the corruption of true friendship. So what is the corruption of true friendship? It's just two simple words: evil communication. Evil communication is the corruption of true friendship. When you are in a friendship and what you have that is only present in that friendship or relationship is evil communication, the Bible says it will corrupt your good manners. It will corrupt your good manners. So you want to do away with evil communication. Those who are always tempting you to do bad things, you need to walk away from them. Those who are not improving your life, you need to walk away from them. Listen to me. You are going to have different cycle of friends at every stage in your life. And don't always be afraid to walk away from friendship that does not have value to you. In 1997, I had just given my life to Jesus as a child of God, and my sister bought a message. I think the message was preached by Bishop David Oyedepo. The title of the message was "The Right Company for Right Living." Now, I don't know how many times I listened to that message, but I'm very certain that it must be up to about 100 times or more. I listened to that message over and over and over and over and over again. And every friends that I had during that same period, many of them can even come across this video and they will testify to it. I made sure that I gave to every person that I knew would need something like that in their life. I gave the message to everybody to listen to. And that message was the defining moment of my Christian life. Now, when I gave my life to Jesus Christ, I gave my life to Jesus Christ on November 30, 1996. Of course, I had some circle of bad friends that I was working with at that time as an undergraduate at Olabisi Onabanjo University. And I remember some of those friends giving me 2 weeks ultimatum that, we know you in 2 weeks, you will be back. But that 2 weeks has not ended almost 30 years after. So what I'm saying is that you need the right people in your life for your life to be right. When you have bad friends in your life, it will impact you negatively. And when you have good friends in your life, it will take your life to the next level. So in conclusion, I want to say to you that it is far better to be alone than to be in bad company. Don't be afraid to be alone. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid not to join the crowd. After all, eagles don't flock, they fly alone. It is better to be alone than to be in the circle of bad friendship. George Washington put it this way. He said, it is better to be alone than to be in bad company. I hope I've been able to impact your life through today's Executive Wellness podcast. I cannot wait to see how your life is going to turn out in the future. I have big hope, I have big aspiration for you. I hope to see a new you emerge in the future. I hope to see somebody who is going to take his life to another level in the future. And I hope I have been able to help you in one way or the other to be able to take that step. God bless you. See you some other time. Thank you.